Today we are going to discuss how to define a class and how to create objects of that class. For example, here the general syntax of how to uh, define a class is like this. Class is the keyword. You should start with the class, and here you have to have the class name followed by type of the these are properties of these are properties instance variable 1, instance variable 2, instance variable etc n. Suppose that you have n properties of that class, then it should have a specific type like integer, then floating point, character. Those are the basic data types. So we can have complex data types as well. Here, this class is having n number of properties followed by a number of functions. That means these are the methods. And for example, an object. Suppose that this is an object created from a particular class and it has a number of properties and methods called functions. That means here these are the properties. For example, as a human being, suppose that you have a class like human being. Human beings, we humans are, and for that human being, height, then weight, then sex, then whether he is married or not married. These are all properties of that human being. That means if those are the properties of that object, and I am an object of, I belong to that class. That means if you have a class like human being, then I belong to that class, and every student belong to that class. That means classes are the general structure of a group of objects, and here suppose that you are creating an instance. For example, I am an instance of the human being class. Also similarly I am an object. Okay. And object has a set of properties like height, weight, then a number of properties are there. And method means this object can do something. This object can do a lot of things. That means I can walk, I can run, I can jump. Then these are the methods. For example, as a human being, I can do a number of things I can do, and whatever I can do, those are the methods of that class. And now say a class is having a set of properties and a set of methods. Okay. Now suppose that you have a class and class name is there. You should have the name of a class. For example, suppose that I am having say class, say tree. Tree is a class, and now this is the class name. Class. This is a result verb. You have to type this as such class and followed by class name. Then whatever you have given in between these two braces, those are the body of the class. Okay. In that body, initially you have a set of properties. These are a set of properties for suppose that here class say human, then int height, int weight, then and properties. Those properties you can write here. So type means int. Here type means int. Type instance variable. These are instance variable. Height and weight are instance variables. Then you have n number of variables, and after that you have a set of methods. For example, here you can have say jump is a method, walk is another method, then run another method, calculate. So these are different operations that can be done by this human being. And as a human being, if you create an instance of that human being class, then I myself is an object of this class, and I have weight, height, then I can jump, walk, run, etc. So these are, suppose that this is a method, and suppose that this jump function returns some integer value. For example, suppose that when jump is executed, what will happen? How many meters? Or suppose that this one returns a double value. That means this jump function return how much height I can jump. That means suppose that I can jump 1.5 meters, then this jump function, when this jump function is executed, it will return 1.5. Walk means how many miles, how much kilometers, or how much miles this person can walk. That suppose that this is a long value, long, then this walk will return a long value, and that value is how much uh, kilometers or how much miles this person has walked in a day, and something like that. That means when this is executed, it will return a value. So suppose that some functions does not return a value. In that case, here nothing you have to specify, or if you want to specify something, so here you write void. Void means nothing is returned. And suppose that if you want to pass some parameters to this. For example, uh, suppose that here, suppose that you are passing, say, a date, how much you have worked in a day, on 7th September or 2nd February. Suppose that a date is passing, that means some parameters can be passed to the method, that is parameters. Those are parameters. So at this point in time, you should remember, that means class followed by class name. Then you have a set of instance. For example, int height, int weight, then double some other value, then character. That means the properties of that particular class. Properties as a human being. For example, you can have sex, and that should be a character value, male or female, then married or unmarried, a number of properties of that human being. Whatever properties a human being have, you can include here, and these are some methods associated with that human being class. And this is the way you can define, or you can define a class. That means type instance variable 1, type instance variable 2, type instance variable n, etc. And these are the methods. That means this method, these are the parameters which you have to pass to this method name 1, and after processing this, it will return a type. And method name 2 means here also we are going to pass a set of parameters, and it will return a type. Here also we are going to pass a set of parameters, and this is the return type. And a class is having a set of a set of properties as well as a set of methods. And suppose that if you want to create an object of type human being, what you have to write is human. Say my name Shibu. That means here I have created an instance variable, an object of type Shibu, and if you want to allocate space for this, you should have a statement like Shibu equal to new human. Okay, that means using new methods only, using new keyword, it's a function, new function, and using that new only, you can allocate space for that. Once an object is created, here human Shibu means a reference of type human called Shibu is created. That means this Shibu, okay, that is a pointer, or it is pointing to an object of type human, but that object is not created yet. So if you want to create that object, Shibu is equal to new human means here you have created an object, and here you have height, weight, number of properties, and here the compiler is allocating space for height, weight, etc., etc. And now this Shibu is pointing to this. That means now this is, suppose that this is height, weight, etc. Then this can be accessed using Shibu dot height. And if you want to access this Shibu dot weight, etc., provided these are public variables. If those are private variables, you cannot access this like this. Okay. At this point in time, you should remember the general structure of a class, and I will show you a simple example. Called box. Suppose that I'm going to create a class box, and this box is having a set of properties like double width, double height, and double depth. Okay, so this is a class called box, and now you're going to write a program for this. This is a sample program. Already I have defined this class box, and this is the box demo example, and here you have to edit, or you have to type all this in a single file, and that file should have the name boxdemo.java. Boxdemo.java. Why? Here our public static void main, this function is written in class box demo, and that is why you should have the name boxdemo.java. And in this boxdemo.java, initially what I'm going to do is my box equal to box. Here instead of this you should have box my box equal to new box. That means a reference of type my box is created, and that is pointed to a box object. That means I have created an object of type, this is my box, and that is pointing to this object, and that object is created using new. Okay, then my box dot height is equal to 10.0 means here you have width, height, and depth. That means height is the second parameter, and that is 10.0. Then my box dot width is equal to 7.6. Width is 7.6, and my box dot depth is equal to 3.9. This is 3.9. Okay. Then system dot out dot println. After that, it is printing the volume of the box is my box dot height into my box dot width into my box dot depth. That means it is printing after multiplying these three values. That is my box dot height into my box dot width into my box dot depth. Okay. That means how do you execute this program? Using Java C boxdemo.java. Boxdemo.java. You have to edit that, and you have to save that file as boxdemo.java, and you have to compile this using Java compiler Java C boxdemo.java, and after that you have to type Java box demo. Java box demo, then what will happen? It will print the volume of the box is it will print. Suppose that it is 10 into suppose that it is 210, an approximate value, then volume of the box is 210. That will be displayed. Okay, so that is a simple example, and simple example of how a class is created and how the values of these instance vary. That means here we have a class called box, and I have created an object called my box, and that is allocated some space, and the instance variables are assigned some values, and after that we are going to print that values. Okay.